So true. So true.
Okay, well, we are officially live right now. Let me just double check the community that we are in, like Flynn. And you know what, Rosemary, this is fun when we can get together like this with all of our issues.
I know.
trying to get on, because this is a world that we live in, right? We live in this like super cool, social, connected world. Okay, let me double check that we are in the group on right now. You see us. You see our faces? Yep. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. Yay. Rock and roll. So I'm going to, we got our comments over here on this side, and I think we're good. Oh, we see Sarah. We know we're in when we see Sarah. Okay, well, I'm just going to give us a quick little introduction, and then Rosemary and I we're here just to riff to you guys tonight, and by riffing, we're gonna share with you our story. We're going to talk a little bit about meditation tonight. We're going to talk about finding that soul alignment, right, and why we've come together. And you guys have been getting a little taste of what Divine She School is all about, and really, we're excited to be unveiling this. It's been, we talk a lot about birthing projects, and as women and coming together on this journey, we really didn't know each other. Like, oh my gosh, are we going on like 6 months even? I mean, it's kind of crazy how things work out. But yeah, we really didn't know each other. We haven't known each other for a year, and same with Sarah. But you know what? It's so cool when you find people that are at your same wavelength, that are moving and shaking, and you create together. So we're just going to kick off tonight, and we want this to be really free flowing. We've got, you guys can see at the top of the Be Live section there that your comments will come in, and we'll answer them. And we really want to hear how your day is going, how this process is going for you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to really turn it over to you, Rosemary, and to get this going, let's talk a little bit about your journey. Like, paint us the picture of where you were at, and how you and I were just talking about finding meditation for the first time. So let's go there. Let's start there tonight.
Okay.
Cool.
So really, my journey kind of started 2 years ago when I was introduced to network marketing, which was Beachbody. But that was kind of like the journey to really trying to get back to me, so to speak. But I think my whole enlightenment journey, becoming really like the person I'm meant to be, finding my purpose, that journey didn't really start until really only 6 months ago. I mean, in January, coming off a really difficult time in my life with my family, and my husband job, and we were we didn't even know what was going to happen, and we ended up in Pennsylvania, which has been amazing. But then Shauna came into my life, and it was one of those things where I still had no idea what I wanted to do or what my business was. I was dabbling in other network marketing companies after I left Beachbody. It wasn't where I was supposed to be, and I knew that. But I just followed my intuition for probably the first time in a long time, and this is where I am now after going to Boho Branding School. And I mean, I was telling Shauna earlier, I am a totally different person now than I was even 6 months ago, which I know I'll be an even different person now by the time I'm in December. It's like I'm constantly evolving now, but it's just the transformation is beautiful. It's such a beautiful journey. And I know now, though, that I am in my purpose. It makes so much sense. Life is just, I don't know. It's a beautiful, beautiful journey so far.
Rosemary, it was so funny because I was going through old photos, and as getting ready for next round of students and that type of thing, and I was looking through, and I remember talking to you when you were in your hotel room.
Yeah.
You didn't have the pink hair then. It was. I was like, this is a completely different woman.
Yes, seriously. I mean, and that's one thing I will say is, one of the best things that I have ever done for myself is invest in me and what I really needed. And the second I started doing that and putting that energy into myself, I have totally transformed. And it's I stopped caring what other people thought. I, stopped letting other people dictate what my journey should be, and I just kind of dived into it. And I had a lot of support along the way. I mean, community of really powerful women, which I think is so, so important, which is why I love this tribe too, because we need that connection and support, so that I think other women know that, there's other more people out there like them. You know what I mean? Yes, Sarah in my bathroom. Doing live videos in my hotel bathroom, legit. Like I went from doing live videos in my hotel bathroom to this beautiful office and this beautiful house, and I have such beautiful people in my life, and I'm like, it's just like, it's amazing. If you really just commit to the journey, your life will change forever.
Yeah, and that really is it. It's that, and you're so good at this, talking about transforming that fear to fire and letting that fear feeling ride through you, but then using it as your own power, using it as, the catalyst to change. And, that's what I admire so much about you, is you're able to just say, hey, we all experience this, right? We experience the fear. It's a natural part of our human brain, right? To go into fight or flight. And, your way of explaining it is just like, okay, you go through the motions. So take us there for a second too. Let's chat a little bit about that fear, because I know, like, coming into the community, there's even the resistance to like hop in here and go live, right? Like hop in and hopefully you can still see me. It looks like my screen might have frozen a little bit, but is it okay?
I can hear you. Oh, there you go. Okay. You're good.
So even, we talk about hopping on Facebook Live, right? And this can be scary to some people. And, we were all there at one point of, we kind of poke fun at like the bathroom scenario, but you were like, hey, I feel the fear, but I'm willing to jump in here and communicate my message, because without doing that, I stay in this state of not moving. So let's just chat about fear for a little bit, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. Why not? So, I mean, fear it can be debilitating if you let it be debilitating. Because the whole thing for me is fear is, it's an ego emotion, right? It comes from your ego. It doesn't come from anywhere else. That's where it comes from. And it gets in the way because your brain is so, like, it's funny. We'll talk about this more in Divine She School, but our brain is like naturally on this, like, it kind of defaults to this negative mechanism because of where we came from, like back in the day. So it's so easy for people to let fear kind of dictate and come into their life. But the problem is, like, if you let it, like, just hold you in that spot, and it's like you feel the fear, but you don't really feel it because you're just letting it keep you from moving forward, right?
Right.
So my thing is, like, being able to really go through the emotions, like feel the emotions, let yourself feel the fear, let yourself have maybe a little anxiety or whatever, but like still push yourself past that limit to where you're going, outside of your comfort zone. And yeah, the first time you go live or the first time you do something that really scares you, it's going to be like, you're going to be like, feel like you're going to have a panic attack type thing. But I'm telling you, like, the second after you like actually do it though, and you go through the process and you get off your live video and you're like, wow, that wasn't really as hard as I thought it was going to be. But the more you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, the more you don't let fear you let that be your power. Like you said, turn your fear into that fire that pushes you forward instead of holding you back. That will totally change your life in just that one aspect. It's definitely a mindset thing, but it's, it can either be a tool that you use or it can be something that keeps you back. That's what, because no matter where you're at on your journey, you're going to have fear pop up, obviously. I mean, we all do, but, just don't let it hold you back, because then you're just going to stay stuck and you'll just stay there and you won't ever move. You'll be miserable. You'll be like in this continuous cycle, and it's like, and then that's not good for anybody. I mean, not yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a really good segue to talking about meditation because, and you guys, I know so many of you have dove in deep to Sarah's meditation, but I'm telling you, like, this woman has such a skill when it comes to just like speaking to your soul and calming you down. And really, the more that you practice and the more that you have that meditation practice as part of your morning routine or even evening routine is when we talk about this fear, right? We're able to, and I don't want to say control your thoughts, but I want to say you create a fluidity. And so, my personal journey began with, crazy anxiety, building up anxiety, and that anxiety just built and built and built, and then one day blew over and became this panic attack, horrible panic attack, where you feel like you're literally dying. So really, right? Yes, and you know what? Like, the darkness brings us the light, right? Which is why we can stand on solid ground, because we've been in those scenarios, and hence the reason we're together and we're like, hey ladies, it's okay to feel like this. Like, your brokenness feelings are so welcome here, because this is where we grow from and we evolve from. So really talking about meditation here for a moment is creating that process of, like, say that anxiety comes in, and let's just use what we've been talking about with coming in and doing Facebook Live. And you guys, this is your platform. This is your community. And we want you to feel like, if you want to pop in live and just say, all right, guys, I'm in my car right now and I just have to say something, like, please do it, because we all need to have those moments of just letting it out. So anxiety, right, or meditation can really help with that process of hitting play, of saying, okay, I've been learning in meditation to allow for that fear to kind of flow throughout me, not sit and stay stagnant and like build and build and build and compile, but you feel it and you ride the wave and you hit play. And at the end of it, like Rosemary was saying, you have this feeling of euphoria, and that's where that feminine energy, you want to be in that. That's that like sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah. So speaking, because Sarah's not with us on here right now, but I know you guys are like crazy fans. We're fans of her. Like, oh my God, bye. And so I highly recommend, if you have not, please do yourself and your soul a favor and be sure to download her meditation, because it's one of those things that you can, if you need to grow off of it or evolve from it, and you know what I mean? It's such a good base to start with. And I know that was her intention for all of you guys, is a really good base, and that's what we're here to talk about. And so let's chat a little bit about Divine She School, and to give you guys an idea of the things that are going on back here, because it's been a project since what do you want to say, like April, May?
Yeah, it's been a couple months at least.
Yeah, and so it's really it's a lot. Yeah, it's evolved. We've had a lot of guidance in our journey. We're so excited to share it with you guys, and to say, oh, this is really how you awaken. And we talk a lot about people being awake in life, but really the people that know they're awake. How does this saying go? It's from Rumi, but there's two people and the one person is awake. How does the one person know they're awake? Because they know they're awake, if that makes sense. Yeah. So you can walk through life and you can observe things, but the person that is awake is really seeing the fine detail that's happening around them. And anyways, so talking about synchronicities and the crazy, amazing things that have happened since the three of us have paired up. Holy crap.
Oh my God.
Just like random things will show up. We'll communicate with each other, and all of a sudden, it'll, like, our memo will end on like 33, or we'll like have these angel numbers show up. And then, maybe I'm going to turn it over to you and let you talk about meeting with, should we say her name? Because we can kind of announce her to the community, can't we now?
Say our business name?
Well, no, talking about the psychic that we met with.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, you broke up. I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, no, yeah, Brittany. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'll
So
let you take that one.
okay. So we went and we did a group meeting with Brittany Carmichael, who is absolutely amazing, amazing woman, truly gifted and connected to spirit. And the main reason behind it is because we really wanted to have that guidance. We've been really trying to, as we're building Divine She School, making sure that we're in line with, the divine, feminine, to make sure that this was what we're supposed to be doing. If this is because we have been so energetically connected and drawn to each other. We knew, I knew there has to be something behind all of this. So we had this amazing reading by Brittany, and it was emotional, mind-blowing, so connecting.
City.
Yes. But
that was me.
Yeah. We were all kind of tearing up, but Shauna maybe not.
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. It was needed though. We needed that in order for us to move forward, and it kind of brought us to a whole nother level. But now we really know that our purpose and what we're doing with Divine She School is needed, and it's what we're supposed to be doing. And we found out too that we've actually probably worked together in past lives before, and either a coven or some type of thing like that, which was amazing to me. I had a feeling we probably did, but just to have it confirmed is one of those things yes, I'm bringing, I have the right woman around me, everything in your life leads up to certain points, and I was just oh my God, this is it,
Absolutely.
It's just an amazing thing. But, so, can I tell him that, Brittany?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, here's the thing that's absolutely amazing, you guys, is we are bringing in guest speakers into our course every week, minus I think 1 week where we're actually going to, just have it more of one of our things. But Brittany Carmichael is coming in to be a guest speaker on week 6 for the third eye. Oh my God, yes. For the third eye secret, which is absolutely mind blowing, you guys. If she has not touched your life yet, just wait until you meet her. You will be forever changed. She is such a beautiful soul, and we are so blessed to have her come and talk to all of you, and just to be, totally mind blown, absolutely amazing. You guys will love her. But yeah, life-changing experience really for me, and I think for all of us, just to really have that connection. Because for me, it's been a long time since I've had that, in my life, with other women. So I think just feeling that is just mind-blowing. And yes, Sarah, maybe we were witches.
I think all the women in this group would say they probably value that witchy side of themselves, and it's sort of probably bubbling up and coming up now in this time in their lives, for sure. I think that it's so cool. You guys, leave a comment below. Let us know if you know who Brittany Carmichael is. I feel like she has a lot of traction right now, but she's just getting started. So we are so lucky, and we're really in this season of collaboration. And I'm sure that you guys have been picking up on this feeling with, seeing other people and wanting to pair with them, or having a business idea, and then, you have these beautiful skill sets, and then someone else has, the yin to your yang, and you can pull yourselves together and create just this beautiful entity. And really when we came into this, and when we started getting on our calls together and saying, how do we start this? How do we start to explain what it means to be awake, or what it means to awaken that feminine energy in you, or to do those things that crack you open and break you out of your shell? And we talked a little bit about Facebook Live here, but the next step, finding that right partner, finding the things in life that jive with you. And how do you explain that, And so it took a while for us to create an outline, create a mission statement, because really, for those of you that are thinking of having your own business, right? Having your own side hustle. It takes time to birth these ideas, and each day that you go through, you learn something new. And when you grow with partners that, I think we are all each other's yin and yang in all facets, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful process. So it's, every week we have speakers coming in, like Rosemary said, and each one of them is strategically placed because they are the masters of that specific chakra. And when we think of awakening our whole system and Shakti and the divine energy, we start at the root and we go all the way up to the top. And that's really been where we started in our story. So it's just a beautiful thing. So let's talk a little bit about, because I know a bunch of people came in because we were talking about meditation, right? People are like, how the heck? So, and I think there's a lot of like pressure around it. Maybe now that we're getting into it and people are trying meditation, but yet they might be hitting those roadblocks or feeling like, hey, how do I do this? How do I create a ritual? So walk us through what your typical morning is like. What are you doing? Paint us the picture.
Sure, I will do that. So I was not someone who normally had a self-care ritual in the morning, but I found that it's seriously one of the most important things for me to do to fill my cup before I start working. As a mother, my energy is constantly being taken in one way or another, either through work or, whatever. So I have established this beautiful routine in the morning, and I love doing it because it just feels so good. And the first thing that I did is created a sacred space for myself, which I think is so very important. It's in my bedroom, but, I have my meditation pillow, I have all my crystals, my cards, all of my kind of woo-woo stuff, whatever, set, but it's a beautiful thing. I made it pretty, so it feels, like home for me, So the first thing I do in the morning is I do my gratitude practice. So I write down 10 things that I'm grateful for. I journal out. Sometimes I use journal prompts because for me, sometimes it's hard for me to get out of my head and just let it go. So I noticed once I use maybe some journal prompts and it's it flows. But I've also noticed, you guys, through journaling, I have been able to connect with my guides more than ever. And I can feel them talking to me. Not feel them, but hear them, really. Well, feel and hear them, as I'm writing. And they literally answer my questions as I'm writing. Or I'll just start writing and it'll be it's them, telling me, okay, this is what you need to do, or giving me advice or whatever. So I do that. And normally, I listen to the birds or I listen to some type of nature sound. So it kind of just puts me in my own little spot. And then after I do that, I move my body a little bit, which is normally a yoga practice, something really quick, 5-10 minutes. And then I meditate. And I normally meditate anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes longer depending on what I need for that day, sometimes shorter. Right now I'm doing Deepak Chopra and Oprah's 21-day meditation thing, which has been amazing. So good.
Yes.
And, but, you guys, it was hard for me to start meditating, though, because my brain would just, go all the time, and I would sit there, and, I couldn't shut it off. But through guided meditations, Sarah's meditations are amazing, and they're so soothing and peaceful. And now I can sit down, and I get visions, I get answers to questions. I've seen my spirit guides. They've came to me now through meditation, and I wasn't even trying to. So I've just become so more connected to my abilities and my intuition, but really loving myself and being this is amazing to feel that, and just your higher consciousness, and just know that, Mother Earth, it's all connected. So, and I've really found that through meditation, so it's totally changed my life, and I don't know how anybody honestly cannot go a day without meditating. I love it. Sometimes I get to meditate 2 or 3 times a day, depending on what I'm doing. But I normally do it in the morning and then at night because it just kind of calms me down at night when I'm laying in bed. You know, I'll do 5 minutes. You know. But yeah.
Absolutely.
So what about you?
That's so good.
Like, you guys do your meditation stuff because you've had so many breakthroughs.
Yeah, it's been, you know, honestly, I'm so grateful for all of the things that have been breaking through. And, you know, my meditation, it started out really weak and stagnant and just like, I think what's really funny, and Drew and I talked about this last night, and please let us know in the comments below if you're struggling or if you're thriving. We want to know where you're at in your meditation practice, because that's what we're talking about tonight. So please let us know where you're at, and your little comments will pop up on our little live cast here, so all your friends can see. So, you know, I started, and my first meditation was, like I said, talking to Drew about this last night. It's almost like that first hit of whatever drug.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what changed and that was when, you know, my story of like hitting my knees and finding meditation for the first time was my first hit. And I would have to say that I've had different scenarios that have happened since then, but that was probably the strongest thing, because I think that I was at such a point in my life that I had deviated so far off path that it was like that rope that pulled me in as fast as it could. Because it's like, if you're going to ask, we're going to bring you in. And that was my moment of like, I love this, right? And so don't be discouraged if you find yourself in a meditation practice where you're like, okay, I'm just doing it to do it because someone told me to. Like, it becomes such a part of who you are, right? It becomes like Rosemary, like starting your day, and it's become such a natural ritual for you that you crave it. And I don't mean to make this sound like an addict thing right now. It's sounding like that, but it's sort of that feeling of like you get connected and you don't want to, you know, let go type feeling. So I want to tell you guys a couple cool breakthroughs that have happened to me, just, you know, to get you excited for your own journey too with meditation. When I departed, the first week out of corporate America was really my struggle. It was that free falling off the cliff of like, I'm doing this, oh my God. Like, and it was that feeling of like, it's happening, right? And it was scary. It was scary in the beginning because you trust yourself, but you also have this like, oh my gosh, you know, weight of, being your own boss for the first time. So I was sitting next to the door of all places in our tiny little townhome apartment or townhome. And I was sitting there on my meditation pillow, and I got really, really quiet, and I got really, really connected. And in this moment I said, if I am to be doing this, and I knew that this was the right thing, but I wanted that extra, like, show me what you got type feeling. So I felt 3 big masses, and I don't even know how to explain this, but I felt 3 big masses come through the front door. And it was the most calm I've ever felt. It was the most connected I've felt since that moment of hitting my knees so many years ago. And it was like, we are here, and we're holding you, and we're with you. And I think that I did not know that those were really my spirit guides at that time. But now looking back on it, it was such a profound moment of being surrounded, of like, it was beautiful. And I literally felt them walk through the front door, and they sat there with me. And if I would have opened my eyes, I think I would have seen something. But I kept my eyes closed, and I hung in this space with them, and I was there. And it was beautiful. It was such a blissful moment. Okay, let's read what Ashley says here. So Ashley says, I was able to trade in sleep medications, yes, for meditation. No matter where I am. Isn't that profound? Like, that's amazing, Ashley.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think you don't have to.
Well, I think that is like something that so many people could utilize. You know, I mean, through with trying to get off the medication, same with anxiety and, you know, depression, stuff like that. I mean, it's such a good way to like connect to yourself And for all of you guys that are saying that you've been struggling, what is it about the meditation that you've been struggling with? You know, what part of it? Is it just the quieting of your mind? Is it the fact that you can't feel like you can't like sit there? You know, because
time.
Or time. Because I talked to one of my clients that I'm working with. She told me, she's like, well, I have like, you know, ADD and I just don't know if I can sit long, you know, like that long. And I was like, well, have you tried? Like, have you actually tried to sit there, even for just like 2 minutes, you know, to just sit there, close your eyes and just be like, if you have thoughts, I mean, I think with meditation, the thing is people think, oh my God, what if I start thinking about stuff like, and they like freak themselves out about it. You know what I mean? But that's okay. Like, you can let the thoughts come, let them go, you know, let yourself feel the things you're supposed to feel. But I think breathing is so important. The breath, you know, the breath work that goes with it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think that's so important. And honestly, just practice makes perfect, you know? Not perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. But, well, I mean, that's not true. We're all perfect divine beings, right? Like that, I believe that. We're all perfect in our own way. But, you know, I mean, just try not to be like OCD about it. It doesn't have to be what you think it needs to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ellie is saying here that the hardest part for her is quieting my mind. And, and here's Sarah right behind her. Always start with 5-minute guided and then lean on your breath. Trust it. Woo!
Yeah.
That's what we needed, right?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
That's the answer for you, Ellie.
I mean,
start with 5.
Yeah, start with 5 and just do the guided. That was really the only way that I was able to really start, is just listen to what those people are telling me to do. And that's what I focused on. And I trained my brain to be quiet. And it honestly only took like maybe a week of doing like guided meditations. Like, I still do them now because I do like the guided meditations. But yeah, so Tiffany said it's a block spiritually, family. I instantly feel my guides around me the moment I move. But it's like a spark that doesn't turn into flame. I can't communicate. Okay.
So you feel them around you, but it's like it's almost, okay. When we naturally have a resistance to something, it's like, oh, you know, it didn't happen before. Why can't I ignite this flame? That's kind of what I'm feeling that you're asking here, is that natural resistance, right? Of, okay, I'm here, I feel you. Why are you speaking to me? And why can't we light this up together? So when we're in that space of communication, connection, I think the biggest thing that you can do after a meditation like that is journal. Like what Rosemary was saying before about just free flowing and breaking down that resistance barrier, because if they're there, right? That's a beautiful thing. And you're able to connect, but maybe ask, like, it's a spark that doesn't turn into a flame. What is the flame part? What are you wanting out of that that moment, you know? And then ask the part of you that knows why you're resisting it.
Yeah.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah. And I was wondering, Tiffany, too, like, are you, I know you've been through kind of a hard time, like the last, 6 months or so with your brother passing and whatnot. So is this something maybe that you're like afraid to connect, like subconsciously, or you don't know what you're going to hear from them? Or is there some type, like, I'm kind of feeling like you feel like there's some, like, you're almost scared to like relieve that block because you've been so, all of these things that have been coming up in your life, that have happened. So maybe it's something like that, and maybe you just need to sit down and do some journaling. And those cards that you do for yourself, Tiffany, are so beautiful. I mean, we know you're on the right path. It's just sometimes our ego and our brain create blocks that aren't really there. Because I honestly feel like none of us are technically blocked from being with spirit. It's our brain like telling us you just don't have the capability of doing that. Or, it's like your ego kicks in and doesn't want you to make that connection. So I know you can get there though, Tiffany. I know you can.
Absolutely. Krista says here, I'm afraid of what is to come in meditation and journaling. It's so beautiful, it hurts. Okay, so, really when we think of, let's just say, for example, like and I know you felt this way too, Rosemary, that when you start to close off your mind, you're thinking of the weirdest shit. And sorry if anyone has like children listening right now. I'll try not to swear. I get a little second pants, but really, you think of like the weirdest stuff though. I mean, it's like all of a sudden you're like, you have your eyes shut and you're like, there's like a wiener dog or there's like a moon. You know what I mean? It's just like the weirdest thing because I think that our brains are constantly working and going and all this stuff. And the moment when you slow down, it needs a moment to just get with you.
Adjust. Yeah.
And so all of that, like picking up dust of the weird things that are happening are like a crazy dream that, and I don't want to say crazy dream because that's not a good way to explain meditation, but it's like the dream you don't understand, the things that are sort of like discombobulated. And it's nothing to be afraid of. Just take a moment. And, I like to think of it this way as you're literally turning the radio dial. Like when you sit down, you're just trying to turn the radio dial. So when you're all the way up here, it's like chaos, like things are going and they're moving fast. And just sit down and just slowly turn it down. You're passing by all the channels that are kind of static and whatever as you go down, and something might kind of and this weekend only sales, and you're going past all these things and you just come all the way down to no volume. And whenever things start to kick up, just bring it back down and just turn the dial, right? There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah. And Krista too, I mean, if there's like strong emotions that you're afraid of that are going to come up once you quiet your brain, you have it's okay to feel those. That was one of my things for me that was a huge breakthrough, was being okay with being vulnerable with my emotions. Because for the longest time, I would block it off and I wouldn't allow myself to feel the fear or the anger or the sadness or the anxiety. I just shut myself off. And now that I've been so much more open about letting those feelings come through and feeling them, I'm able to move forward so much faster because I'm letting my brain process those moments. I'm letting my brain process those emotions. And in order to not have all of this stuff continue to come up throughout your life, you have to let yourself process stuff. So don't be afraid of it, let yourself feel like it's okay, and it's like Sarah said, embrace the intense emotions. Yeah, fear, it really isn't real. It is technically an illusion, that our ego, our brain puts on us. So, yeah, I mean, it's totally okay to embrace those emotions. I mean, if you need them.
Yep, absolutely. And so I think we're gonna cap it off.
Yeah.
We're coming up on 40 minutes. So I want to make sure everyone goes to bed tonight and you can all meditate and take your time.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to leave you
late. We're having technical, and plus my crazy schedule today.
Yeah, no worries at all. It's nice to come in here. Let us know what time you would like to see more of us, and we will we'll work schedules and things like that to suit your guys' needs of when you're in. Do you like evenings better, mid-afternoon? Like what works best for you? And we're going to start showing up in those times that you're ready to tune in so that we can do this work together in a live setting where we catch each other's vibes and we can give each other advice, right?
Yeah.
So let's just kind of cap everything off. I'm going to share with you one thing that's really been working well for me is I set a timer on my cell phone and I do 15 minutes in the morning and that's my morning anchor. And that's how I really feel that I'm doing in that 15 minutes is creating that anchor. So I'm not sporadic all over the place and that I'm not, doing everything in the morning because, as women and us pioneering, what we want out of our lives, we can feel like we're doing 5 million things at one time. Now, I don't have children, and I know that children throw a whole different thing.
Yeah, but you're a multitasker, girl. You're always got stuff going on.
So it's good to create that that space, right? Like really create that anchor. Set your alarm, keep your eyes shut for the 15 minutes. If the weird things turn up, reach over to that invisible, that little radio knob, turn it down as much as you can. It gets better with time. The moments where you get covered in those spiritual goosebumps will be ones that you'll remember, and really coming out of it and practicing your journaling, practicing those things that heighten your awareness and heighten your connection. And I'm just going to say one last thing here is that we are so blessed to be surrounded by your ladies' energy and to be in this community and allowing us to speak to you in this way of encouragement and excitement for what lies ahead for all of you. And if you haven't had a chance to check out Divine She School, we are adding those speakers that we talked about. We're going to have speakers every single week in addition to us coming in and helping you, and we move together as a tribe.
They're so amazing. You'll be mind blown.
Yeah.
Literally,
like
we're very
incredible women.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
So
and Krista, love you too. We love all of you. So much love.
Yes, so good. So anywho, any last words from you, Rose? Anything you're thinking of before we sign off?
I don't think so. I mean, you covered it all, I think. But I mean, just honestly, seriously, we are really grateful for this community. It's been such a blessing in my life, and I know for Shauna and Sarah too. And like we were talking about in the beginning, you know, don't be afraid to come in here live. Don't be afraid to come in here and share your stories or anything that you have going on in your life or whatever you want to share. That's what this is for. And please do check out Divine She School. I know it's going to touch so many of you women, and I think it will really, really help you to really step into those divine feminine shoes and that light worker that we know so many of you are, and we need more of us. We need more. So we need that light so bad. So we're just really excited to share our work with you, and you guys have taught us too throughout this process. So it's just been a really beautiful thing. So we love all of you, and we'll talk soon, very soon.
And I'm going to say one last thing and put a little bug in your guys' ear is that in addition to what we're creating with Divine She School, we also have a retreat coming up. And it's going to be on 11/11, ironically. I mean, come on, let's just talk about how cool angel numbers are. But you guys will find out more of that inside Divine She School. Think of it as like a leadership get-together, because once we've gone through everything, we would love to meet you in person. We would love to give you a good hug and to just chat about what this all means and what it means for you as leaders that go through it. So much more to come.
So much more.
Yay! All right. Well, thank you guys for sticking with us tonight, and we really appreciate your open hearts. And love you guys so much.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Until next time.